Teaching English as a second language, also known as ESL, has become a prosperous business in many non-English speaking countries, especially in Asia. Many language centers there only recruit native speakers, even if they don't have a teaching certification. For example, a language academy website in Vietnam called ama.edu.vn lists an Irish instructor with only a BA in computer science as one of their teaching staffs, and still advertises that the teaching staff is composed of 100% native speakers. They only believe that only native speakers can best fulfill the role of a language teacher. However, this is a misleading belief. My speech today is to persuade you that adult starters of English will experience a more positive and smoother progress if they start their English with a non-native ESL teachers. As an English major focusing on teaching ESL, I'm very concerned and have done extensive research on this topic that makes me quite knowledgeable. I will do this by informing you of first how ESL students start their first lessons of English, and from which we can see that the three main reasons why ESL teachers are more beneficial. The first reason is because of their meta-linguistic awareness. The second reason is because they're masters in teaching their students how to pass exams. The third reason is because they are bilingual and they can help their students overcome language barrier. First, I would like to explain to you how ESL students start their English lessons. Depending on the student's mother tongue, English can be either easy or difficult to learn. If the first language of the students is a language similar enough to English, the students would undergo a process of what we call linguistic acquisition, positive transfer. In contrast, the students would undergo negative transfer if the first language of the students widely differs from English, such as from a tonal and symbolic language like Korean and Chinese to English, which is a stress-based and alphabetical language. However, no matter how different the two languages are, the majority of ESL students would start with their English vocabulary and grammar first. A small survey conducted among 20 Korean students at Angelo State University indicates that all of them approach English grammar at some points of their very first steps. Hurin Lee, a Korean student, who started English at primary school, said that she was first guided to memorize English vocabulary and then going slowly to English grammar, such as present tenses, past tenses, or future tenses. Since that is how non-native students start their English lessons, ESL teachers would be more beneficial because it can help maximize the effectiveness of these foundations. ESL teachers are more beneficial in three ways. First, they are mastered in teaching grammar because they possess meta-linguistic awareness. Center for Open Educational Resources and Language Learning, CORL, at University of Texas, defines meta-linguistic awareness as the consciousness of linguistic form and structure by analyzing language as an object of study. They also emphasize the importance of this knowledge in a language teacher. Unlike native speakers, who unconsciously speak English as an innate ability, ESL teachers are trained to raise meta-linguistic awareness through their ESL classes of writing and grammar, and so they will be able to break down English phrases and structures into chunks, and they can explain the rules to their students. For example, a friend of mine who is a native speaker might not know what present progressive is, but any ESL teacher or ESL students can define this grammar term and give precise examples. The second reason why starting English with non-native ESL teachers would be more beneficial is because they have master skills to teach for exams. David Grattel has estimated that there are more than 750 million English learners in his book, The Future of English, making English rank first among the most learned and taught second languages in the world. This high number of students limits the testing methods to only mass academic writing exams and grammar tests. And according to Vivian Cook, in his book, The Second Language Learning and Language Teaching, non-native teachers who were previously ESL students would overcome the same difficulties and studying process as their students would do, and would know exactly how to prepare their students for the test. For the third reason, ESL teacher is beneficial because in teaching monolingual students, non-native ESL teachers would not encounter language barriers. The language barrier can be an obstacle for students and the native speakers, but in the case of a non-native ESL teachers, they wouldn't have a language barrier, and they can always use the common language between them and the students to communicate, to express a hard concept, or just to give an equivalent word in English. In conclusion, when an adult starts to learn English, ESL teachers are helpful because, first, they can give further insights into the language structure. Second, they can help to pass popular academic exams, especially in non-English speaking countries in Asia. The third reason is because it can help translate English into the student's mother tongue and vice versa. Thus, we overcome the language barrier. The speech is intended to persuade you that starting English with non-native ESL teachers has its own advantages. So what do you think? Would language centers only recruit native speakers and miss well-educated ESL teachers? Thank you for listening.